I think we're here. George is not feeling very well. He is fighting a terrible cold, and we didn't want to keep him any longer than necessary. Appreciate the fact that he showed up for the conference session of the meeting, but George won't be joining us for the general session. All right, ladies and gentlemen, adequate notice of the January the 9th meeting has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by posting written notice and the agenda of the meeting on the bulletin board in this municipal building, 1000 Route 10, Township of Hanover, by hand delivering, mailing, and faxing such notice and agenda to the following newspapers: Morris County's Daily Record, the Star Ledger, Hanover Eagle, and by filing same with the Township Clerk. I have a roll call, Mr. Administrator.
Committeeman Gallagher.
Here.
Committeeman Faramasta.
Here.
Committeeman Bruno.
Here.
Committeeman Capola is excused. He's suffering from a bad cold. And Mayor Francioli.
Here.
4 members in attendance, sir.
Okay, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please join me in a pledge allegiance to our flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Please be seated. At this time, gentlemen, I'd like a motion to open the floor to the public.
So
Any
moved.
items not appearing on the agenda, moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the floor is open. Anyone would like to address the Township Committee can do so from the podium, giving us your name and address for the record. Hey, Robert.
Robert Steiger, 13 Quarter Place, Cedar Knolls. I don't mean to make your evening any longer than it is. I'm sorry, but there's a couple of things.
We apologize.
First of all, I want to thank you for reappointing me to the Green Team. It's an excellent group. They work very hard to try to make the public aware of the environmental changes and the recycling, the whole works. It really is a thing. My first one is, you said that the economy's coming back quite nicely. You've got some good stuff in place. The open space would like to get their money back. We'd like to get the funds that were approved in '99.
The open space tax?
We'd like to get the full amount because we've looked at some sites since they put the trail plan through. We've looked at some sites that we think are available that would really be perfect for the trail part, and we would really appreciate it if you could go back to what it was. I know I don't blame you for cutting it off when you did because things were bad.
It was appropriate at the time.
But we really could use the monies. We really could.
Okay.
How was it that that you were able to deduct it? What did you have to do?
Well, that originally was 2 cents.
I know,
tax.
and that was by public referendum.
And,
I remember that, yes.
I think the Township Committee took it down to
Yes, an ordinance. They had to do an ordinance, Bob, to
Okay.
reduce it.
Would you consider, please, to go back to the 2 cents?
I think the Township Committee would, Bob. I think what we want to do, be open and honest, what we'd like to do is see what the numbers are that are coming in. We're very enthusiastic.
I know,
and
I
and
understand.
it feels good. But we've got to see what the impact is going to be. We're still not quite out of the woods in the sense that we've got tax appeals. Lucent Corporation, a very heavy tax appeal. River Park, etc. Appeals were successful. And thanks to our financial officer, thanks to Silvio, thanks to all the work that the township did, we managed to take this large amount of funds that have to be refunded,
Right.
and we threw them out over several years.
Gotcha. Okay.
So we may be in a position now this year to get that out of the way.
Right.
Once we do,
Put it on a burner, if you would, please.
okay, you know,
Put it on a burner.
then we're dealing with what I'll call net money.
Right.
You know, after that, and we
Gotcha.
paid our debts.
Okay.
And you know, I made a little bit of a promise to the public, and I'd like to hold up on that promise.
Right.
And I'd like the committee to support me on that promise, and that is after looking at what the numbers are, if there's any way that we can produce in this town a flat tax
Right.
situation for the homeowners, that would be absolutely wonderful.
Right. Yes.
And I think we deserve it.
Yeah, right.
You've gone through some very lean, tough years, and you know, now that there's an opportunity, let's take a look at that.
Right.
We're trying to do everything that we can to recover from staffing
Right.
and other needs that we had. So not to give you my tale of woe.
I appreciate it. I know you can talk. I appreciate that, Ron. That's okay.
But in conjunction, if we can look at, go down to half a penny on the open space, even if we can begin to bring it back up in a gradual way.
Excellent. That would be
it would be
wonderful.
something, right?
I would appreciate that, and so would the Space Commission. What is the status of the Eden Lane Dam?
Jerry probably has more facts on it, and he'll correct me if I'm wrong, but let me say that right now, River Park, that Eden Lane Dam, is under the DEP's request to have that dam removed.
Right, okay.
Now, some of the last correspondence that I saw was pretty strong.
Yes.
But do you have any updates on that?
No,
or-
I don't have any updates.
Well,
One of the plans that has come in to planning showed a reconfiguration of the Whippany River and the removal of the dam
Right.
in compliance with what the DEP would like to have done. Now,
Well,
there's
The
no-
Environmental Commission is concerned about it. Sal told us that it was going to come down. That's the only reason that
Yeah.
we started talking about it. But what we would like to do would be to send a letter to the DEP expressing our concerns about the environmental impact when that dam comes down. Because there's thousands of cubic feet behind that dam that is going to find its way downstream sooner or later. I really do believe that the soil should be completely tested to see what's in it besides just soil. And if there is anything in it that is not desirable, rather than let it go downstream, I think it would be preferable to have it removed where it is.
Oh.
Because if enough soil went downstream, it could change floodplains and everything down there. You've got a 6-foot-high dam, and it goes back 50 foot wide. You've got thousands of square feet of soil there
Soil
that's
and
going to
sediment.
go someplace. So
Years of soil and
we're
sediment.
just going to let them know of our concerns so that we can maybe get them stepped up a little bit, and also to the county Soil Conservation Commission. But Joe will get a copy of the letter before.
Have we been able to, has your board been able to amass any data and information for us? In other words, let's assume, not assume, but we were happy to do a letter down, trust me, happy to
Right.
do a letter down DEP.
Right,
But letters are just that.
right.
But if I have information and facts about your concerns and the
Right.
board's concerns
Right.
over environmental issues,
Right.
and when we can know that,
Right.
that'd be a great help. Are there, is
Oh,
there
yeah,
data
no,
on the county level that you guys can research? Is there
Right.
ways?
Yeah. Well, I don't know that we can do very much. It would either be the owner of the property, somebody would have to be responsible for the environmental impact part of it. The commission, we don't have anything that we could do with that, tell you the truth. But if we would just want to put the DEP on record of our concerns, because they have some crazy ideas down there. They may not have any idea how serious the silt is that sits behind that dam. There's only about 6 inches of water behind the dam.
yeah,
The
no,
rest is all soil.
Yeah.
And that, we know that's going to go downstream.
Yeah.
And it could even start to cause a flooding of the Edenwood complex if it filled in 2 or 3 feet of water down in that section, because their banks aren't that high.
Not at all. That one corner, that one bank is very, very short.
Right.
But my concern is, giving me some ammunition for the DEP.
Right.
And now you
Well,
did say something
give you a
that's
copy
valid,
of the
and that
letter
is-
beforehand, and then if there's something you want to add to it, you can. It's nothing's cast in stone. It's just that as an environmental commission, when you know what is in that silt that they didn't want us to dredge,
Right.
you've already been told it was dredged back in the 60s, I believe. That's what made Central Park.
Right.
But right now, they don't want it dredged, so if there's something in there they don't want dredged, we don't want it going downstream either.
Yeah.
So I just think we should put them on record on it.
I'd like to, and I'm not disagreeing. We're
Right, yep.
Totally, I think there's not a member of the committee that wouldn't be totally supportive.
Right.
But I guess my question, Jerry, would it be advisable to have George Van Orden do some soil samples there? Now, George has modeled that river.
Yeah, he had it, they got it cleaned
George
up.
knows
There's
that
no,
river.
but that's not the silt part, it's just the water part that's been cleaned up.
Well, that's what I mean, if he could do some soil samples around
Right.
at the banks and in the river and give us an idea. I don't know what would be involved there. Can you give us some sort of an idea? Can he or someone give us an idea?
Yeah, we can
what
talk
that
to
would be-
George about
what
that.
would
I
entail?
mean, there might be a cost, I'm sure there'll be a
Well,
cost
there'd be
to that.
cost on the lab work, et cetera. But
Exactly.
maybe we should do it. Like I said to Bob, it's one thing we write to government offices and say,
Right.
we don't like this or that. It's another thing if I tell them why.
Yeah.
Well,
And
that's
then put them on
what we do.
notice.
We're not saying we don't like it. We don't care whether the dam comes down or not, as long as the impact study is done, so we know where that soil's gonna go
Yeah.
and what the soil is.
Yeah.
That's the most important part, really.
Have you drafted anything?
Yeah, I have a draft letter that, and I'll get, it's just in hand. I'll have it typed up and I'll see that Joe gets a copy and that you have it. The commission's not gonna see it until next month anyhow.
fine.
But it is something that we feel very strongly about, and I do think the potential for it to be a nasty thing is very possible.
Well, I would like to believe that the DEP, in wanting the dam down, has come up with their own studies and rationale for.
And that's what we would like to know.
What's going to take place, what the impact
Yeah.
would be, and what,
And I think you as a committee should know what that is, so you can either accept it or try to reject it based on what you feel are the possible problems with it. And I thought maybe getting a letter to them this may be on a back burner someplace that they're thinking about the Passaic River or the Delaware River or something like that. This might just raise some thoughts about a little spot in Hanover Township.
all right, no,
Very
that's fine,
good.
thank you, yeah.
Okay, another thing, at the Lowe's where the Lowe's is going in, it's quite a slope from top to bottom. The commission feels very strongly that instead of green screen, that at the lower end, it should all be hay bales for soil erosion control. I really feel it, because there's going to be a lot of
Well,
soil.
I don't know what it is that they went from hay bales to burying the mesh screening.
And they don't bury it, that's the
hay bales,
problem.
at least there's a filtration system at the same time.
Right,
That
yep.
lets water through.
Right.
And still stops the sediment, you know? And I don't see why we can't put that imposition on them, even if they say, well, we only have to comply with the meshing, we could tell them that we want the bales.
Exactly, because they did it at the government did it when they did the depot down here, and the bales, if they're left there, they just deteriorate.
They rot,
Whereas
yeah.
the green screen
Yeah,
winds
salt.
up going in the storm drains
It's-
half the time.
It's regular
Yeah.
salt hay, eventually.
I would just appreciate if that could be sent to the
Jerry,
planning board.
Can you make a note to
Make a
bring
note
that
of
to their, because the planning board's just about done with that. Are
Yes.
they coming back in? They got
the-
preliminary and final?
They received their planning board approvals, they have to meet, conditions of that approval.
So you'll have another shot at them? Okay, Bob. Yeah.
And the other thing is that the Open Space and the Environmental Commission are considering meeting together. And rather than just, because we had an open space meeting last night, it was just myself and Britt were there, but, Mr. Stitt, but, because a lot of times environmentals and issues go into open space, and open space issues go into environmental. So, not that no funds or anything would change hands, but that the two groups could get together, and then one hand knows what the other hand is doing.
I think it's a great idea, and it's an idea that Bob Bruno had commented on earlier on.
Very good.
When we were talking about, toward the end of our year here, of trying to mesh some of the layers that we
Right.
have here. Open space, environment,
Right.
green team.
Right.
Okay,
And
seems
like
to be a natural
with the
collaboration.
trails, that's going to involve open space, and some of them are going to have to be environmentally safe trails because they're going over wetlands and whatnot, so that would do, right, very good. Thank you for your time, I don't mean to take you any long. Dot's in the hospital, so I don't have to worry about what time. Her lungs is, again, it's the colds, everybody's got them, I know that.
Respiratory?
Huh?
Respiratory?
Yeah, it's in the tubes, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. I think your comments are well taken, and we'll follow through on them.
Thank you.
Barbara, how are you?
Hi, good evening. Happy New Year.
Happy
All
New
of you.
Year to you.
I just wanted to mention to you, I think I sent an email to you, Ron, and I can't remember whether I copied everybody else. I just
You
wanna-
did today, and I'm full of apologies today.
Not today, did I?
Yeah,
No.
I got an email today of an article that you had sent me,
Okay.
And
I've been
is
thinking
that
of
the
something
one?
I sent you the other day.
Okay.
I'm thinking of,
But the
okay, go
township
ahead.
was doing me a favor of giving me a
Which
different...
one did you think I sent
A
you?
different cell phone today, so now I'm totally incommunicado because
Okay.
of, you know.
Which one did you think I sent you today?
I just about got the opening on that when they're changing over my cell phone, they just did it. And so I
Okay.
didn't get into the full.
Was
I
it the
just
one
know it
about, was it a one
I
about?
did know your opening was to bring to my attention a particular article on this. you know.
Okay, all right, let me talk to you about the thing that I know I remember, I sent you the email, which was about my conversation with Assemblywoman DeCrose the other day at the Freeholder reorg. And she mentioned that there is apparently an effort in Trenton to, since only 25% of school districts across the state don't already have full-day kindergarten,
Oh,
that there's an effort to make it all day for everybody, and I kind of said, maybe those 25% that don't have it all day have a reason for not having it all day. And then as I walked away, I realized, that's us. So I reacted to her that I didn't think, I mean, I think conservatives, Republicans, whatever, usually, no more mandates that you don't pay for. So I'll just give you a heads up. I mean, she's a Republican. Republican bills don't move down there, but I can see the Democrats all thinking that's a great idea. And so,
you know,
you might,
I'm taking a non-party position, and by the way, when I do, I have to be very careful because I speak for these gentlemen too, and I think they align themselves with it, but we're not in an Abbott district. And I don't mind telling you a little quick story here, and it's one that a neighbor of mine shared with his son and daughter with their grandchildren who live in Hoboken area. And God bless them, they're rather okay, affluent, but their transportation, their school lunches, etc., their extracurricular activities for the children are all funded for these children too. I have still a big objection to the way funding in the state of New Jersey is distributed among the school systems.
right, absolutely.
I think Newark doesn't know how to spend the money it
We all
gets.
know that.
I think the same thing is true of the Pattersons.
East and I
the
know that
Kentons,
only too
etc.
well, right?
That's my issue, and I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat or a Tory. I mean, that's what it comes down to. And I would love to see, again, I'm not on the Board of Education, I'm not privileged to the information that these gentlemen have on that as to what the educational needs of our children are, and that's their responsibility. But my concerns, again, are strictly on the funding sides of things. And if there was a way for our school system to recover a lot of the state aid that it's lost in the redistribution of the Abbott district,
Yep.
I'd be the first one to stand up and say, hey,
Right.
let's look at the value of a full-day kindergarten system and what it does. And secondly, I think a lot of our board members on the board that I've been told are looking at the value of a full-day kindergarten. Forget the dollars for a second. Is it beneficial? Does it give that child, that student, a better head start, et cetera, for all the right reasons? Or is it paid daycare?
Yeah, I mean.
That's my big concern.
I remember when I was on the board, this is obviously Ace can update you with a more recent opinion, but I remember we thought extending it was just, you're gonna have to pay for lunchtime for them to have lunch, and you really weren't getting that much more educational time out of it, and it is daycare, so but I'm just suggesting you from a perspective of, if we think mandates are a good thing, then we might like that. You might just like to pick up the phone and call her, write her a letter. If you don't think an additional mandate that would undoubtedly cost taxpayers across the state of New Jersey money, and I would I don't need to remind you, we're already a net exodus state because people can't afford to be here. I was just rather surprised to hear her say that in these times, that she thought might be a good idea. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. And here's the other thing, at the Republican Club reorganization meeting or nominating committee the other day, we did talk about programs a little bit, and we talked about, and John was there, and we talked about maybe having a program down the line that might be about one of our favorite topics, which is COA. and explaining how it affects our town and getting some people to come and hear about it.
That's a
So-
full evening's meeting. I'll tell you
Yeah,
that.
so
It
just
gets
lay that
it.
out there, for some time, if you'd like to figure out how to structure a program, and if you'd like to come and bring whoever you think, we'll talk about when, but we all agree that that's a very important topic, and we'd like to make the town people a little bit more familiar with.
I would like to see something like that happen with not just we local representatives. I would like to see a subject of COA, for instance, and then have one of our state representatives come in on this as well. We have
Michael
contacts
Patrick
there.
Carroll is a good person on
Because,
that. He
I
spoke
hate-
with
I hate
Loningen
for
one time about
our community to think
COA.
that we operate here and our positions on COA and our positions on what's happening here, are operating in a vacuum and just a little fiefdom. It's not. It's everybody. It's all the other towns. But somebody else other than us has to say it. So I think.
Well, if we sponsored it, we could open up Republican clubs, we could invite all the Republican clubs of the county, or whoever we wanted, right? If the venue was large enough, or if we had it in the municipal building over there, or whatever.
I think it would
But,
be a
I
good-
agree that it would be important enough to attract some other folks too, just maybe not make it a Republican club, just Hanover Township. I
Be a
mean.
good thing. The more people know about COA, the more they understand the restrictions that we have to work under,
Right.
regardless of what we build.
Right,
COA doesn't just mean housing.
Right.
COA affects commercial buildings, retail buildings, anything that gets built. A garage has a COA component.
right.
So, people have to
So
understand.
maybe we can have a conversation at some point about how to structure that, when, and, who we would want to
Good.
include in that, but I just wanted to throw that out, that was one thing we did talk about, that it was timely and would help
I think so.
taxpayers understand what's going on in New Jersey, so.
I
we'll
think
have-
traffic's the other big issue in our town. And, that's another whole meeting. What's going on? Because everyone I talk to, everyone I run into, even in the new ShopRite, gee, I can't get crosstown, I can't get here, I can't get there. You're right. And why? And we have that information. But we have no solutions at hand unless we had a ton of money to start putting into the infrastructure, and not just our infrastructure. We're blessed in Hanover with this great highway system. It's wonderful. 287. Too bad they've got to be working on the bridge for the next 2 years or something else like that. That bridge has been such a it's going to be great, but it's a problem. Route 24, 287, 80, 280. It brings a blessing for all the corporates that want to be here, the airport, et cetera. But at the same time, everybody that wants to get to the highways comes through Hanover.
Yeah.
So, that's something we got to talk about.
Well, you know what, I got appointed program chairman for Republican Club this year, and we are looking to we tentatively have a January 27th meeting, and I was tossing out a couple of ideas today, and I did send an email to somebody about possibly doing one. If that was something that you wanted to come on the 27th and spend a little time talking about that issue, we're still kind of nailing down an issue for the 27th of January, so.
Oh, I'm wide open, and with advance notice, even if it's on the issue of traffic, I'm happy to reach down to the state and grab somebody from the DOT and tell them to come on up here. I'm happy to grab somebody over at the county and a county engineer, et cetera, and have a whole forum of
Okay.
what's going on
All right.
and where we can go.
I'll talk to you about it a little bit later then, sometime. Okay, thank
Very
you.
good. Anyone else would like to be heard at this time? Hearing none, seeing none, motion to close?
So moved. Second.
Okay, Mr. Administrator.
Thank you, Mayor. We have the approval of the Township Committee minutes for the regular meeting of December 23rd. May we have a motion of approval?
So moved.
So moved by Mr.
Second.
Bruno, seconded by Mr. Ferramasca on roll call. Mr. Gallagher?
Mr. Giorgio, I wasn't a committeeman yet.
Okay, so you'll abstain at that time, this time. Mr. Ferramasca?
Aye.
Mr. Bruno?
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli?
Aye.
So approved. Departmental reports, we have two. We have the report of the property maintenance officer at December 18th, 2013, and also the township engineer's report of all projects and activities as of today, January the 9th. Copies have been distributed to the Township Committee. We do not have any ordinances for introduction this evening. We have the resolutions as a consent agenda. Are there any questions from members of the governing body concerning any of the resolutions?
None?
No, very clear.
Right.
We have a motion for approval?
So moved.
So moved by
Second.
Mr. Faramaska, seconded by Mr. Bruno. On roll call, Mr. Gallagher?
Aye.
Mr. Faramaska?
Aye.
Mr. Bruno?
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
So approved. On page 2, reverse side, we have raffle applications, Rotary Club of Madison and New Jersey Jazz Society, also as a consent agenda. May we have a motion for approval?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Bruno.
Second.
Second by Mr. Gallagher. On roll call, Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Faramaska.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
So approved, and we have payment of bills, $3,795,317.11.
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Francioli, seconded by Mr. Faramaska. Roll call, Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Faramaska.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Yes, pay
And
the
Mr.
bills.
Francioli.
Aye.
So approved, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. That clears the agenda of the Business Administrator, Township Clerk.
Very good,
And
Joseph,
I
thank you. Thank you very much, okay. Raffles, pay bills, other business. Is there any other business from the Township Committee at this time? Gentlemen?
Couple items on the recreation side, or one item on the recreation side anyway, because of the fact that it's been so cold, the skating has been available at Malapartis Park. We just want to caution everyone that the temperatures have been going up and down like a roller coaster, so please make sure the flag is up. When I drove by this evening, the light was on. So ice skating is available.
That's great.
If you have any questions, I think tomorrow it's going to warm up again. We're going to get rain. So if there is a question, please call the Township Committee. But last year, I think the skating at Malapartis was limited to a total of 1 day. And we've already been open 3 days this year. So get the skates out. The other reminder from the DPW is once your road is plowed, and obviously we've already had a lot of chaos, a lot of storms, there could be more on the way, please don't shovel snow into the street, assuming that the plows are going to come around again. We've had a lot of issues with homeowners with snow blowers blowing the snow into the street, then it gets cold, it freezes, creating all kinds of chaos. So once the plows come through, please make sure you don't throw snow back into the road because there's no guarantee that we're going to be plowing again. You can really be causing some severe danger for your fellow homeowners. That's it for me. Thank you.
That's an excellent point because every single one of us and our neighbors have seen it where the plows just push from the driveways down into the street and they try to push it across the street and they leave all the residual on each side and it's a mess.
Shoveling, the plows, the snow
you know,
blowers, yeah, it's whatever method, yeah, please don't do
I'd
it.
love to give us some homeowners that see it some direction as to what to do. I mean, they could call in, they could call DPW, or they could call it into our police department, and we could have somebody go out there and see it, because it does create a very hazardous situation, especially with the freezing weather that we had. And I'm thrilled to hear that you got Malapartis Park up for skating.
We're skating.
For years, I beat my head against the wall. I mean, it was the greatest thing to have that pond freeze and have the kids skate up. Families came out and used
The
it.
polar vortex helped us this week.
Boy.
That was the key to our success.
Son of a
Nothing
gun.
I did on my own.
Wow.
Although I'd like to take credit if it's at all possible.
Well, just the idea that we put it back online as a skating facility warms my heart. No pun intended.
Good to hear.
Son of a gun. Okay. John?
Nothing to report.
Nothing to report. Very good. Tom?
Nothing to report.
Okay, look at that. Son of a gun. All right. Having heard that, once again, we're going to open the meeting to the public. Motion open.
So moved.
Moved and second. All in favor. Floor again is open. Anyone like to comment at this time? Your last opportunity? None? Floor, motion to close?
So moved.
Moved and
Second.
second. All in favor. Floor is closed. Okay, motion for adjourn?
So moved.
Moved and seconded.
Second.
All in favor. Adjourn.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen. Very good. Very good.
But, and 2 letters to sign that show the people who are now being serviced by the second truck. Second automated truck. Ron signed it over. I'll give them to you.
The one I got today? They gave me a new cell phone today. And I haven't been at my computer all day from
Sometimes you see right